Hi, I'm JJ Conway, and I help hardworking women and a few good men build financial confidence and take ownership of their financial future. I'm cheering you on with education on financial literacy, smart investments, and passive income streams. Welcome to Ladies of Wealth.
Thomas Troward wrote in one of his writings, "It is a mistake to suppose that we must restrict or stint ourselves in order to develop greater power or usefulness." Stint, STINT. It means to contract or limit, or as in the case of being extra frugal, okay? What he's saying here, it is a mistake to suppose that we must restrict or stint ourselves in order to develop greater power or usefulness. He also says, when we're drawing from the infinite, we need never be afraid of taking more than our fair share. Ooh, I like that, y'all. I really like that. When we're drawing from the infinite, we need never be afraid of taking more than our fair share. The danger isn't in us taking more of what God's blessed us with than our fair share. The danger lies in not sufficiently realizing our own richness and seeing the external outside conditions as our riches. So instead of seeing the great things that God has in store for us, we look at the crummy situation and we think, well, that's all I get. This concept is so powerful, y'all. So powerful. And we were talking I think it was in the group coaching or something like that a couple of days ago about the idea that people accept. I accept that I'm spiritual. I believe abundance for me. But do you really believe it's for you? I mean, if you did, would you be playing so small? Would you be so fearful? Would you be afraid of stepping out? Sometimes I wonder if we believe things, but then our actions, no. We think we believe things, but then our actions tell a different story, don't they? Our attitudes tell a different story. But let me read it. When we're drawing from the infinite, you need never be afraid of taking more than your fair share. Have you been afraid of taking more than your fair share? Because if God's love is infinite for his children, then your fair share is infinite. You know, I, I can share a story of when I first started teaching. I would tell people, like, I believe you can be, do, and have anything you want. Oh yeah. And I would lift them up, gas them up, as my son would say. And I really did believe that for them. I just didn't believe it for me. It's the difference between abundance mindset and prosperity consciousness. Thomas Troward says, I thought I had the book back here. It's a mistake. It's a right here. It's a mistake. Hold on. What's the mistake? Just restrict ourselves. It's a mistake. Thomas Troward says it's a mistake for us to restrict or stint ourselves in order for us to develop greater power or usefulness. And we have to think about it. Well, what does that mean? What is he saying here? And what he's saying here is we create and develop a learning model. Now, don't hear what he's not saying, okay? As your resident financial planner, I may not be your actual financial planner unless you engage me and we have a contract, but as somebody who's throwing out general useful financial guidance to the populace, he is not talking about spend up all your credit cards and things like that, because after all, I don't want to be restricted. Okay, that's not what he's saying here. Okay, what is he saying? He's saying that we create and develop a learning model, that at a very early age we are restricting bringing forward our full potential and our full giftedness. So he's saying it's a mistake that you should think that you should restrict yourself in order to somehow get your needs met. And that's what this sentence is really saying. And we do this all the time to get our needs met, especially when we're young, because at a very early age, perhaps one of our greatest needs, is for acceptance, this need for belonging, right? Well, most of us, let's be real about it. Most of us did not grow up in a house or home of unconditional love. Many of us did not fit into this dominant culture of influence, and the other 4, 5, 6, 7-year-old kids on the playground, they made sure we knew it, because most of us didn't have at that age an awareness of God's perfection in our life that He expresses through us and as us, right? That He uses us to do great things, even though we ourselves are not that great, right? So for this reason, at an early age, we form a learning model that has us withhold or withdraw our natural state of being, that state of perfection that God wants for us. And we begin to bring out this opposite of our perfection, this polar opposite of our perfection in Him, and that is a place of restriction. And if we look at the opposite of restriction in our natural state, it's liberation. In our natural state, it's expansion. In our natural state, it's enlargement. In our natural state, it's freedom. And we talked a little bit about the how God created the body, the soul, and the spirit, and the soul is really kind of that essence of us. It's who we are. That's our soul, the seat of our personality. It's not our spirit. I mean, our spirit is what helps us commune with God, but our soul was given to us by God. And a lot of us feel like in order to grow closer to God, we have to tamp it down and chain it up and put away that. You don't need to have an imagination. You don't need to have feelings. You should just be a robot. God did not create us to be no robots. God did not create us to be robots. Yes, I have degrees. I know how to speak proper. But God didn't create you to be no robot. He created you to be an example of His glory. He created you to always be growing in fuller expression and fuller expansion of His will here on earth. He created you to be something great, greater than what the world has said that you're supposed to be. There is greatness in all of us, especially if we are walking with the Lord. Walking with the Lord as children of faith, we always talk about yielding will of God. We're submitting this and that to the will of God, but that's yielding, that's submission, not restriction. I yield my type A, get the stuff done, don't care if I hurt your feelings, personality to the Lord. And more He's telling me, you ought to start caring about hurting people's feelings just a little bit more. But you know what? But you know what though? There are times when the Lord will say, ask this and ask this and ask that. And I'll be like, I don't want to be that person. I don't want to be that one. I don't want to be that one. And sure enough, no one will ask it and I'll ask it. And then one year we went to our jurisdictional meeting and we had our business meeting with all the pastors. And the Lord gave me this and this and this. There was 3 separate questions. And I was just like, Lord, can I just please have a break? I don't want to be the bad guy for yet another meeting. Could you please just let somebody else ask the question? I feel honored that you trust me enough to ask me to ask this, because you know that I will yield and I will submit. I will do what the Lord told me to do. I will do what I feel the Lord called me to do. Whether you like it or not, I'm going to do what I feel like God had called me to do. But I said, Lord, please, can I just have a break? Could this cup just pass away from me, right? Y'all, I got in that meeting and sure enough, 3 separate leaders in our jurisdiction. One asked the one question, one asked the other question, and one asked the third question. I said, oh Lord, thank you, Jesus. I know He hears my prayer. Okay. But I'm telling you that story because I don't want you to feel like you have to restrict yourself to do God's will. Now we have to yield to His will, but I'm gonna be honest with you. If I was to restrict instead of yield, if I was to restrict instead of submit, there are a lot of people who would not be saved that the Lord used me to bring to Him. Maybe somebody else would have come along 10 years later, but right now they're living a life of abundance that they wouldn't have had the timeline that they had, if the Lord hadn't used me, and if he didn't know that because I am bold and because I will speak what I feel like the Lord told me to speak, that he could tell me, go up to this person and pray for them, or go up to this person and say that to him. See, people have all kinds of things that they want to tear you down, but the Lord knows you got something to offer, and other people will sit around scared, but it's time for you to take your place. Other people will be like, well, I don't know, but the Lord knows it's time for you to go out there and do what he wants you to do, and he's trusting you that you will do it because you have this skill set, you have this talent, or maybe you weren't born with the talent, maybe it's a gift he gave to you. Like, I know I can't sing. I mean, I'm not a songbird. I ain't a singer. My voice is, I was in that Promise production with all them people who can really sing, like people who record with Maverick City Music and all these other big names, and they're in the background like, oh, like a Disney princess, and I'm back there like, well, I'm gonna keep my mouth shut. But you know what the Lord showed me? The Lord showed me, well, you're not a singer, but you are obedient to the director, and you do what the director tells you to do. You don't question it. You don't try to fix it up. I won't name names because I don't know how he would feel about me saying this, but we had a pastor who wrote some songs in my living room back when I lived in Ohio, and he formed a group, and they actually recorded an album, and they did a concert, and he invited me to be in the concert, like one of the backup singers, and I was just so proud. I'm not proud. I was proud. Let me just be honest. But I got to be one of the backup singers. Like, everybody knows that I sing in the key of duck, right? So I was just like, what? And so I'm all happy. I get up there and he gives us the part and I sing it. And this is no joke. I thought to myself, wow, this is so plain. I really could fix this up. And then I thought, you know what? This is my first day out. I should just do what he said to do on my first day as part of the group. And the first performance as part of the group, right? And so we get into the performance, and then we get to rehearsing our second one, and for our second one, and he said, the reason I put people like Sister Janine in the group is because the rest of y'all are singers, and when I give you the part, you're thinking in your mind, well, I could really fix that up, and I need people who are going to sing what I visioned for them to sing. I was like, well, so so you may feel today like, well, I can't do this and I can't do that, but sometimes it's not about the what you can't do, it's about the what you can do, and the Lord's just waiting for you to do what you can do. The door will come open when you do what you can do. They didn't put me in this thing or put me in that thing because I was a songbird. They put me there because I knew how to take direction when I'm not the one in charge. They knew that I would be one who would say, yes, sir, yes, ma'am, and not try to be petty or bullying or tear things down. That's why people say, well, I don't understand why she gets this and she gets that, and people pick her for this and people pick her for that. You know why? Because them bosses, those leaders, them millionaires and them billionaires, and all the people that put me in the places to do the things that I get to do, they put me in the places that do what I get to do because I add value to their life, and I don't cause any drama, and I don't tear anybody down. I don't talk bad about them behind their back, and I don't know why I'm on this because this is not part of my lesson today, but somebody needs to be encouraged. You think you don't have that somebody else who's more amazing over there has, but you know what somebody else who's more amazing is probably going to do? They probably going to burn out of their business in a year, 6 months, 3 months. You know what? In February, mid-February, you're gonna get an email. I'm sorry. I've been MIA for the last month. I really overworked, and I had to take time out for myself, and I had to give myself some self-care because if we don't prioritize ourselves, ain't nobody else gonna prioritize ourselves. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Some of us have sent that email once a year, twice a year for a couple years. Once we learn how to be consistent in the things we're good at, then the Lord can work with that. And once you learn how to be consistent, there are a lot of people out there who are better than I am, but I just kept going. I looked at my business thing, and it said my original business that I opened up was in 1999. I've been in business since 1999. And I still have the web host company. I don't do anything with it. I sold it and then I bought it back because the person who was doing it, they weren't taking care of my clients. And so I don't advertise it. I don't build, don't ask me for a website. I'm gonna charge you $20 million because I don't want to do it. But I take care of my original, I take care of the people that are with me, you know. And but I was like, you know what? I'm not the best at this and I'm not the best at that. But you know why I have people that their website has been with me for since 1999, even though it's not my thing anymore? Because I'm consistent and I make things right. I can't always make it all the way right. If I can't make it right, I make it better. And if I can't make it better, then I yield and I apologize and I don't make that promise again. So, anyway, we have to understand you got other internal properties that the Lord can use in you. It's not always about the surface value, it's not always about what other people see. What other people see don't matter. I hope she's not watching this because I do want her to watch my stuff, but I don't want to run anybody off. But I feel like this will help explain the story. I was in that backstage one time listening to somebody gripe and complain about how I didn't deserve to have the things that the director put me in. And I'm sitting there like, I don't deserve it either. I really don't deserve it. I can't sing. But my husband encouraged me. He said, well, you're not the best singer. You can carry a tune. You're not the best singer in the world. Now, he's a musician. He's allowed to tell me that. And he's my husband. He's allowed to tell me that. He's like, yeah, you're not the best singer, but you can carry a tune. He said, but you can really act. He said, your facial expressions, people can look at you and know exactly what your character is thinking. And you don't even have to say a word. And I was like, oh. And he said, so that's probably why the director put you in all, because I had 3 different roles this last one. But it broke my heart a little bit to hear people complaining about me when I knew they were right. Like really, they were right. I did not deserve in my mind and in their mind. But you know what? If the director wants it, if the director wants it, then who are we to question? If the Lord gave you the vision, the Lord gave you the vision. I don't know why he didn't give it to amazing sister so and so. I don't know why he didn't give it to super confident brother so and so. I don't know why he didn't give it to your son who's so good on camera. I don't know why he didn't give it to your parents who have all the money and all the wealth and all the influence after a lifetime of living, right? Like I don't know. All I know is if you will just proceed in faith, the Lord can do great things through you. You have to yield, you have to submit, but not restrict. Oh, good stuff right there. I wish somebody would drop that in the chat. I don't know if you are dropping stuff in the chat. I've got an error from the streaming thing that says that my chat box that shows me the chats, it says there's an error. So everything that's in there, all I'm getting is error, error, error. So I don't know if y'all are seeing anything, but if you do and you like what we're doing, go ahead and if you can, go ahead and write something in there. Let me know what some takeaways are or something like that, and we'll see if it's just me or not. But we don't want to be like the business world, the motivational speaking world, that everything is God and everything is this and everything's that. That's not what we're talking about today. And we're not talking about putting ourselves above the Lord. But when we're restricting or being restricted or not fully expressing, that's not the natural state that God created for us. He created us and he said that we were supposed to have dominion. And yes, there's a curse upon the earth, but when we come into the household of faith, then there's a lot of that curse that no longer applies to us. And I think it's really worth thinking about these things over and over and over because we need to be empowered. Okay, we need to be empowered and in our natural state, and we talked about this before. We don't need to go through unreasonable machinations just to be a channel for these higher states of consciousness to flow through us. We don't have to take substances or put ourselves in some precarious positions just to have access to the ideas and the consciousness that everybody else has. If you don't know any musicians in certain genres, you may not know of all the things they do to get the ideas. And when I used to write fiction, the things that I used to do or the things that I was connected to in order for the muse to show up, okay? You don't have to go through all those things because the answers are there. Everything we need is right at your fingertips. It's just outside of your conscious awareness. It's already there in that spiritual part of us, yearning to be expressed through our soul and our body. It's quietly calling us forward to do more, to be more, to be more.
Testing, testing. Did that help? Oh, I think we're back, y'all. Okay, I think we're back. Okay, it's showing me green dots to say y'all can hear me again. Woo! You know what? That's the devil. You see what I'm saying? Do you see how insidious the enemy is? Oh my goodness. He don't want you to get this today. He don't want you to get this today because he knows that you're going to take what the Lord has given you and you are going to run with it and you're going to do something amazing. Some of you are going to go out there and you're going to change the lives of children all around your city, all around your state. Somebody else out there, you're going to heed the call. The Lord's been drawing on your heart to chase after him and to dig more deeply into him and to begin to share your testimony with others. And the Lord's going to use it to just change the nature of people's lives in your community. Somebody else out there, you're going to be called to start a new school. Somebody else out there, you're going to be called to open up a business. And even though it's a business, it still serves to up level people's lives. Some of you out there, you're going to be called to take this next step of action to grow and expand your impact and your influence. And I don't know what it is, but it's going to be great. And that's why the enemy fights so hard to make sure you don't get anything that's going to encourage you along that route. Oh, you're going to get TikTok. You're going to get the, do I look ugly? You're going to get that video. You're going to get the people dancing on the escalator. You're going to get that video. All right. You're going to get my baby daddy slept with my mama. You're going to get that video, but heaven forbid you get a video on something that's going to change your life. And because the enemy knows that you are hanging on to this and you're like, wow, this was made just for me. This content is just for me today. Then he wants to make sure you don't get it. So now this is really speaking to you. I'm not saying this from a sales perspective. I really don't need your $3. Okay. But I got to cover the expenses of hosting the system. You need to go now to jjclink.com/flow and you need to get the workbook. And it's going to also come with the audio to this that you can download and listen to over and over, like while you're walking or while you're driving. Okay. And then you can also get the video that you can watch. You need this. And you need this. If you're the one you're talking to, and every time I make a point that really is something that you feel like, oh my goodness, that's me, and then my sound cuts off, or this happens, or that happens, then that's the enemy trying to keep you from getting where you need to go. So go out there and get access to the course. And when we finish editing this, we'll pop it all out there. Sometimes we don't get it edited and you just get the raw. That's fine too. Because it's about the energy. It's about the energy. You have been too long around people whose energy wants to tear you down. You have been too long around people whose energy makes you feel like you can't do it. You need to be around more people like me who believe you can do it. You know why I believe you can do it? Because if the Lord brought you to it, he'll get you through it. And if the Lord put it in your mind, then he's going to equip you with everything you need to make it happen. That's how he rolls. I don't always understand the ins and outs of things that the Lord calls me to. And sometimes the Lord calls me to something and I'm thinking it's going to happen this way, but then the Lord turns around and it happens that way. And you want to take the next step, but you just don't know that you can't. You need to be around people like me who have tried the Lord and found him to be faithful. You need to be around people like me who have tried the Lord. And when he said go, and you say, well, Lord, I'm not sure if my health is going to hold up. I can't drive like I used to could. And then he says go. And then you find yourselves 8 hours later in the town doing what it is he told you to do. Oh, my brother, my sister, the Lord has something great for you. And I want you to listen to my words, not because I'm vain, but because you need somebody in your corner letting you know that you can do it, that God is on your side, and there is greatness in you waiting to be expressed. And if you are walking in a state of excellence right now, there are higher heights and deeper depths for you in the Lord. Ooh, yes. All right. I don't know about you, but I find it very inspiring. I'm inspiring my own self today. Okay.
So we don't always we don't always find the flow. We don't create the flow. What we do is we become a better channel for the flow through us. And for me, that gives me some comfort because I don't have to be perfect. I don't have to be elevated. I like to be elevated. I like to live excellently. I like to be a woman of faith and power. However, I have my own human limitations. And if I had to rely on me for everything that I feel like the Lord is trying to give me, then I would be afraid it was never going to happen. If I had to rely on me and my personality and my strengths and my what little talents I have, y'all, I'm not even deceived about that today. All right, because I am arrogant enough to believe that I can get it done. I'm arrogant enough to know that the Lord put it in my hand. I'm gonna make it happen. Now, sometimes that's not always true, but the journey. Sometimes it's about the journey. I think of something in my life recently where I realized I did not accomplish the mission, but the Lord didn't put it in my hand for me to accomplish the mission. He put it in my hand for me to grow by trying to accomplish the mission, right? So I am that person, right? Like I never met a problem I don't think I can solve. Because if I can't solve it, the Lord can, right? But at the end of the day, I really don't have a whole lot of talent. I really don't have a whole lot of I don't know what the right word is, but when you think of somebody who's got this and got that, like I don't have the family background, I don't have the I don't come from generational wealth, I don't have, I had learning issues and things like that growing up. Like I am not the one, but I am the one because the Lord uses me and he fills me with everything he needs me to have so that I can do what he's called me to do. And if I don't have the money to make it happen, he touches the king's heart to not need the money, or he touches another king's heart to provide the money, or queen's heart. And some of you today, you're like, well, I'm not. You don't have to. You don't have to build the channel. You have to be intentional about seeking the flow and removing blocks to the flow of God's will in your life. We have to be intentional about removing the blocks to allow it to flow, okay?
Don't forget to like this episode, subscribe to the channel, and ask your question at ladiesofwealth.com.